Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Today, we're going to be diving into NFL draft talk. We don't really do late night streams, but I wanted to go ahead and bring my guy in here, Ben Garcia, because I wanted to try to chop it up with him. It's been a while since we actually had him on the show. For the new people that are just joining, and do me a huge favor, smack up the like button on this live stream. We are on the road to 17K. Can't do it without you guys. And subscribe it up. All right, y'all. Let's go. And without further ado, let's go and bring in my guy here, Ben Garcia. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing so good. Everyone knows I got to put a pizza in the oven now, and that was pretty funny. I didn't realize I was already in the stream and people could hear me, but for those, couple people that were in the stream, you now know that I am making pepperoni pizza tonight, and the wife is not going to be thrilled that it did not get in the oven. But other than that, I'm good, man. I'm so good.
That's on me. I should have let you know that we're going to go live. And yeah.
Right. I was like,
sorry about that. Pizza does sound really good. So for the people in the chat, the few people that were just joined in, they definitely now know. But yeah, let's get started here, man. We got a lot to talk about today. We are going to be doing a 30-minute show, obviously talking about the draft, but it's been a while since I talked to you. I want to get a real quick gauge on how you feel about the Cardinals and what they did in free agency. Just real quick, nothing too long, but how do you feel like the Cardinals did in free agency?
I think they did free agency. I don't think that they the thing with Milton Williams was interesting because a lot of people were upset that the Cardinals didn't get him. He was the third string defensive tackle on a really good Eagles defensive team. And maybe he's great, but there's no shot I was giving him that contract. You overpaid for Josh Sweat a little bit. But the reason why I don't care about that is because it's free agency and everyone gets overpaid, so I'm not holding that against anyone. Dalvin Tomlinson, I think, saved this team because Monty Ossenfort, I've been very high on him. This is 3 off seasons now that I'm not 1,000% sure he knows how to do the negotiating thing super well. Dalvin Tomlinson didn't fall in his lap, but kind of fell in his lap. The only reason why he's here is because Myles Garrett got $40 million a year, and they had to cut someone. So I thought it was like a solid B. I was kind of hoping for more, but not in the free agency market, on the trade market. I thought you needed to make a move for Trey Hendrickson. I thought Myles Garrett, make a move for him. There's a few guys that I was like, you have elevated the floor of this defense. Now it's time to elevate the ceiling a little bit. They still have $45 million, man.
Yeah,
they still have. If they went into free agency with $45 million, you would still think they had a lot of money. And they've already signed a couple of guys. So I hope Monty continues to stay aggressive. But we'll see, man. We'll see. This free agency class was really bad, and the Cardinals were bound to fail, I think, at Cardinal fan expectations, because I think they thought they were going to get everyone, and I'm happy Monty Ossenfort didn't overpay for some dudes, but I need him to continue to stay aggressive, but I think it was a solid B.
B is good, though, right? I mean, wouldn't you say a B is pretty solid?
Solid B. Yeah, I think as well, like with Josh Sweat, the one thing that I always tell fans is free agency is fool's gold. Which is why I was more than thrilled that they didn't get Milton Williams. But if you're going to go after someone, Josh Sweat makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go after someone, Dalvin Tomlinson makes a lot of sense. He's already been on, this will be his 4th team, Giants, Vikings, Browns, Cardinals. So he's obviously translated well to different places. I think he's going to be a good plug-and-play guy right away for this team. So, and then I really love the Jacoby Brissett backup sign.
Me too.
Kyler Murray needs someone, like we all do, to check him. Jacoby Brissett owes Kyler Murray nothing. He's seen Tom Brady work. He's worked under other good quarterbacks in the NFL. He will be able to say, what did you see there? And not to mention, Jacoby Brissett has had some success in this system on the Cleveland Browns. So I think all of it has been really, really good. So yeah, man.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think what you're saying for the most part, I mean, so I know you kind of said be kind of sad because I feel like people, I think you're right. I think people did have this big expectations that multiple things were going to happen. Milton and then a Josh Sweat was going to happen. But I always kind of felt like there was going to be 2 or 3 big swing moves, and that is the Dalvin and Josh Sweat thing. I mean, for the most part, Monty Ossenfort has gotten better than year 1. Now, obviously, you can't really judge him on year 1, but year 2, gotten better since then, right? You don't have just depth players that they signed, Bilal Nichols, Justin Jones, and we're all hoping for the best for them, whether they get, if they get cut or they are on the roster for the Cardinals in 2025, but we have gotten better with the players that we brought in. Now, of course, I think everybody would love Milton and Josh Sweat together, but it's just, I don't think it realistically would have happened. But let me give a shout out real quick to my guy, Ivan. It says, Bird Gang stand up. Glad to see the collab.
That's our guy. That's our guy, Ivan.
Yeah. We share him. Really, really cool guy that's obviously been in a lot of my live streams and has been in a lot of your videos as well, and very much interacts with you on X and Twitter. Huge shout out here to Ivan that continue to obviously support both channels. Thank you so very much. But let me also talk about the Jacoby Brissett thing. I think you're 100% correct, man, with the thought of, like, it's weird because, like, I've seen some people on Twitter or X. I don't get engaged a lot with the conversation because I'm one of those guys that I feel like everybody's in right to their opinion. Like, at the end of the day, I just like to kind of hear people's different opinions out there. But there's some people saying, like, oh, why did we go after a backup quarterback when, you have Kyler Murray going into year 7? Well, I mean, it's because of all the chatter outside the noise, right? Every single year Monty Ossenfort has been the general manager, we brought in a quarterback. It's just the proof of the pudding. Now, I know that they believe in Kyler Murray, right? Now, whether that's coach talk or not, they believe in him. But you also got to take into account that Kyler Murray has been, not finishing the job at the end of the season, year in and year out. So I honestly like the fact that Monty Ossenfort went out there and got Jacoby Brissett. Now, there's some people saying, oh, you should have got a better backup quarterback. Like, come on. Like, he's a guy that started.
Wait, how many guys are better than Jacoby Brissett to back up your team?
I've heard Carson Wentz. I've heard.
Yeah, because Carson Wentz gets along. No, I know you didn't say that.
Yeah,
but
I'm not saying that.
Because Carson Wentz gets along with everyone. Yeah, that's why he's always on a team. Or who's the other one? Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones, yeah.
I'm good. I think I'm fine.
100%. I love the Jacoby Brissett signing. He was one of my top in free agency, but you're right. This free agency class was not great. So being the fact that the Cardinals are picking apart the draft, they got the big swings, and they're still getting people here and there. And I know for the most part, everybody's like, who's that? But, they're trying to bring in people. They might not even make the 53-man roster, but regardless of what it is, what we really want to talk about in this live stream is I want to talk to you about the draft. So we are right now 5 weeks away. Crazy, right? 5 weeks away from round 1 of the NFL draft. I'm super excited about it. I want to kind of get a gauge of where you are at with the 16th overall pick. Now, I know we're going to talk about Shedeur a little later on, but I want to get a gauge on what prospects you're really looking for. Do you want to trade up? Do you want to sit pat? Like, what is your overall thoughts on the draft?
Yeah, this is going to be, actually, let me ask you this, because I did this on my live stream. For everyone that enjoys me or just wants to yell at me, you could find my show every morning at 6 a.m., Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I forgot we changed. 6 a.m. local time. The other day, I was talking about fit or best player available. And I would ask you really quickly, are you a draft the player that fits your team and what you need? So let's say, like, the Cardinals need a pass rusher.
Right.
And under no circumstance are you taking anyone else other than a pass rusher. But Shedeur Sanders falls, or Tedorola McMillan falls, or any one of those guys. Would you still go pass rusher? Are you a through and through need over best player available?
Right now, with the moves that have been made right now, I'm still leaning heavily towards defensive line. I am, me personally. Now, if they go after a Trey Hendrickson, which they probably won't, but like right now, I do not feel confident that the Arizona Cardinals have the guy opposite side of Josh Sweat, personally. Now, I won't be mad if the Cardinals go after a McMillan. I wouldn't be mad if the Cardinals go after an Emeka Ibuka. I wouldn't be mad if the Arizona Cardinals go after, anybody else or an offensive lineman. I wouldn't be mad at it. But right now, 5 weeks away, I want to plant my flag right now for defensive line right now.
So I would agree with you. I want a defensive lineman, but not at the expense of giving up talent. If there is I believe general managers get fired because they are too fixated on what the team needs rather than how the board is falling to them.
Fair.
And that doesn't mean you need to draft Shedeur Sanders, and that doesn't mean you need to draft Tedorola McMillan. But I know of a couple of teams that either need a quarterback or a I believe, the best wide receiver in the draft. I don't understand where this Golden thing came from out of nowhere, but we can get to that later. I think Golden's really good, but it's just like for 2 years we were talking about T-Mac being the best player, and then Golden ran to a 4.40, and now it's just T-Mac's the second guy. I don't get it at all. And now he's being called a jump ball merchant, which
yeah, it's wild.
Imagine being called a jump ball merchant. You mean you could catch the ball over people? That's crazy. So like people would come up and trade up. So maybe you're just like, I don't want that guy. It doesn't fit us, and that's fine. Then trade back. Someone will want those players.
Yeah.
I am firm on talent over need. Now listen, if Pierce from Tennessee falls to this team, or the kid from Texas A&M whose name I am blanking on, the pass rusher from Texas A&M, and then Stewart, yes, Stewart, yep. And then Walter Nolan from Ole Miss. I talked with Trevor Sekema in New Orleans. I was at the Super Bowl, and I had a really good conversation with Trevor Sekema of Pro Football Focus. Good dude, really good guy. I have a decent relationship with him. And he had mocked Walter Nolan to this team. The only thing that worries me about that is that's another interior pass rusher.
Right.
Now, if that's the best player available, you go best player available. And you stick Darius. And then you're talking Josh Sweat, Walter Nolan, Darius Robinson, Dalvin Tomlinson. That's still probably somewhere between the half and third worst offensive line, but you went from, or defensive line, and you went from the 32nd worst, or the worst defensive line in the NFL to the 21st. And if that's a huge jump,
it's a big jump,
which probably wins you 2 more games from last year and you're in the playoffs. So, someone like that. But what I will say, and I won't get into the Shedeur Sanders stuff yet, because you want to save that later, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
If Tetairoa McMillan falls to 16 and you can't find a trade partner, and you're not absolutely sold on a pass rusher, now listen, if you're absolutely sold on the pass rusher, then you're taking the pass rusher every day that ends in Y. But if you have concerns about players, and I do trust Monty Ossenfort drafting, if someone to the talent of Tetairoa McMillan falls to you, and you could have 2, I believe, wide receiver ones on this team. Now, the Cardinals have trouble getting the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr. as it is because of Petzing's offense.
Yep.
But and I'm not advocating that. Draft Tetairoa McMillan at every point. I want people to understand me in the chat. It's just, if the talent is there and it's too good to pass up, it's very similar to like CeeDee Lamb years ago with the Cowboys. He fell to like 23, and the guy was like, I mean, we don't need a wide receiver, but I guess we're drafting this guy.
Yeah.
Because I think you make mistakes when that doesn't happen. Now, listen, better grade on Nolan, better grade on Pierce, those type of guys. I mean, who knows? You trade up and go get Abdul Carter, whatever.
Ooh.
Always, I'm with everyone else.
Yeah.
They need to come out of this with the defensive line. But if someone
falls,
who you have like ranked 3rd on your board, falls to 16 because the quarterback run that always happens, or the whatever run happens, teams are trading up and someone falls to you, that happens every year.
Yeah.
You need to be ready to strike.
Let me go ahead and we got a couple super chats piling up here, and I'll shout out to the guys that are obviously in the chat right now. I don't really go live at nighttime, so thank you everybody. That means all you notification squad out there. So let me talk to you about this, because there's been a conversation happening amongst my chat, amongst my comments, and it's about, of course, running back Cam Skattebo. And I know you made a video, a short about it a long time ago, and got a lot of traction on TikTok as well as on YouTube too. But we got Chaz in the chat saying Cardinals running back room is win-win situation. It's either Connor Benson, Carter, or those 3 plus Skattebo. So be happy either way. What are your thoughts overall on Cam Skattebo? Because right now, to me, like if I were just to kind of repeat what I've been saying, I like Cam Skattebo. I think it's a really good story, and I know people would love to bring him in here. It just, I don't know if it just, like, unless there's a clear path to what the Arizona Cardinals are going to do with Trey Benson, I don't see it. Like, using a 3rd round pick, or I'm cool with the 4th, but a 3rd round, I don't know. I don't see it. What say you though?
Yeah, I don't understand like Alex Clancy, Locked On Cardinals. I know Alex, good dude. You know, just because I like the dude doesn't mean I always have to agree with his takes. Yeah. He tweeted the other day, like, I'm so sick of the Cam Skattebo talk. It's fantasy land, like something like that. I'm obviously paraphrasing. And he was like, under no circumstance should the Cardinals take Cam Skattebo. And I'm like, did you did you watch him? And I haven't heard anyone tell me, any fan that says, we drafted Trey Benson, so we can't draft Cam Scatterbu. Okay. Well, the Cardinals drafted Josh Rosen and then immediately drafted Kyler Murray. How'd that
True.
work out for them?
True.
Did you want to stick it out with Josh Rosen, or do you think you're better off with Kyler? Regardless of how people feel about Kyler, I think I know who the better player is. Just because you drafted someone last year doesn't mean you should pass up on a talent this year. And it's the same argument I'm going to continue to make. Just because you need an interior offensive lineman for depth in the third round, but Cam Scatterbu falls to you. Now, I'm not advocating that you're drafting Cam Scatterbu in the first or second round. Even I understand.
Right.
That is because it's not just I drafted Trey Benson, it's positional value.
Right.
We still have James Conner, and there'll be another great running back next year. But forget what Cam Scatterbu does on the field, which, by the way, is leading ASU to beat Texas, but I'm blaming the coaching staff for sending a cover zero blitz for God knows what reason, and leaving who I believe is the second best wide receiver in the draft wide open. But, to each their own. I probably wouldn't have done that. He goes in and basically beats Texas on his own. And so his ability to match what the Cardinals do, which is smash mouth football, run the ball, he fits exactly what the Cardinals do. Also, he's like a perfect successor to James Conner. I don't think James Conner is going to be on this team after this year. So how great would it be to have James Conner after this year in Cam Scatterbu? So I don't care that they drafted Trey Benson. I think that's an incredibly weak argument. I think, they drafted. If you think Trey Benson is awesome, then yeah, I agree. Then that's fine. You think, listen, we got Trey Benson. But from what I saw from Trey Benson this year, he was fine. He was fine. I couldn't care less about Michael Carter. I know some Cardinals fans really like him, but yeah, I mean, to me, he's a depth guy. He's a good player. I don't have any issues with him. If he's here next year, great. If he's not going to lose sleep over it either.
Right.
He was cut in the preseason, and every team had a chance to pick him up, and no one did. Good player. That's whatever. But I'm not using the crutch of, we drafted that last year, because that's stupid. I'm going to draft the best player available and who fits this team. And not only does he fit this team on the field, God, doesn't he just seem like a Jonathan Gannon guy? Doesn't he just seem like a guy that head down work, passed up on, everyone told him no. By the way, Cam Scatterbu, I put that out there on Instagram too. He actually liked that post.
Did he?
So I thought that was kind of funny too.
Well, let's ask you this though, because I know that. So to me, it's not no way in hell I'm getting Cam Scott. That's to me, right? So I have had a couple collabs with Alex Clancy as well, and really cool dude. But to me, it's not no way in hell. But it is depending on where he falls. I'm not touching him. Third round, even me, I'm not going third. Are you going third round if he's there? I know the 49ers have their eye on a potential Scatterbu.
Yeah, they love their white running backs. I would absolutely take him in the third round.
At third?
100%. I wouldn't even bat an eye. I would take him in the third round and I'd celebrate. You're telling me, what do the Cardinals need? So they need a pass rusher. Probably another cornerback, maybe, but I would assume that they're going to add a veteran instead of just another young guy because their cornerback room's kind of young. They need a linebacker, so second round, maybe potentially a linebacker. They do. I think there's a chance they need a wide receiver too.
Yep.
An interior lineman. I understand. I like Michael Wilson, but he might be better suited for a 3. I don't know that to be the case. I don't think he's had enough opportunity, but in his opportunities that he's had, he's been pretty good, but I'm just not sure.
That's my take on Michael Wilson too. I like Michael Wilson too, and I mentioned it on my last video, and so many people came at me, and I want to make it clear. It's not that we do not like, or I can't speak for you, but it's not that I don't like Michael Wilson.
I hate him personally. I'm just kidding.
No, it's not that I don't like him personally, but here's the thing. If we can bring somebody in that can be that number 2 and slot him to number 3, or even if they're a number 3, I don't know. I just feel like you can add some more value there. But there's just still kind of a lot of unknown with Mike Wilson, at least to me. So that's just kind of how I like Mike Wilson. So
I don't think he's a bust. I think he's been awesome. What was he, a 4th round pick?
Third.
If I'm was he a 3rd round pick?
Yeah.
Well, either way, if he's your wide receiver 3 and he's a good wide receiver 3 in the 3rd round, yeah. And if he's a wide receiver 2, potentially, I don't know. He has made do in his reps. He just hasn't gotten enough of those reps. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I think in the third round that's very fair value. I'm not overdrafting him to get a hometown hero and sing the dues. I couldn't care less
Yeah.
that he played at ASU. Sure, I guess I have a little bias towards I like the guy, but you can't tell me on an ASU team that has what? 3 pros on it? It's got the wide receiver whose name I'm forgetting who broke his collarbone. Sam Levitt, Jordan Tyson, Sam Levitt, Cam Scattaboo.
Scatterbo, yeah.
And Sam Levitt is a borderline freshman, and Jordan Tyson emerged as a wide receiver 1 late in the season. Cam Scattaboo dragged a team that won like 3 games the year before and should have won the Cotton Bowl. So, I mean, or the Peach Bowl. So I'm going to go ahead and just lean on. I think he's the best running back in the draft too. So if he falls in the third round, I would take him in a heartbeat. Guys like that, culture guys, are so valuable. They're so valuable. I would die to have that guy in the locker room. Imagine a James Conner, Cam Scattaboo backfield where you think you're getting a break off of a bruising running back, and then in comes in the next guy who runs harder, potentially. So it's like,
it sounds good. It does sound good. Don't get me wrong. And I know,
imagine Drew Petzing, man.
Yeah.
Imagine Drew Petzing on 3rd and 12. Oh man, he'd hand that ball off so fast.
Yeah, no, it sounds good. I don't know. I do see somebody in my chat, so shout out to them. If the Cardinals trade back their 16th overall and recoup another third rounder, I think I would be okay with that. But
yeah, absolutely. It's a weak draft, man.
Yeah.
It's a weak draft.
Yeah. It's
like we're talking about Cam Ward being the number 1 prospect. Sorry, the number 1 quarterback prospect in this draft. I don't think he's a top 5 quarterback prospect from last season.
I agree.
I think
100%.
all the guys that were drafted before him are better. And you and I both like Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
You actually got me on Jackson Dart. I like to give credit where it's due. So I flip you off for taking that from me, but I'll have that. But like Jackson Dart, if he falls to the third round, which second round, he's not going to.
I know.
Because quarterbacks.
I know.
I'll get to my point in just a second. But quarterbacks always get overdrafted, which is why I'm a little, wondering about the Shedeur Sanders thing, if it's actually real. But Jackson Dart with the 7th overall pick is a disgusting thing to do. But in the second round, third round, yeah, I would take that guy too. And guess what? We don't need a quarterback either, to some people. But I like to be prepared rather than get caught off guard. So, yeah, man. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
I feel the same way. We do got my guy Carlos in the chat here. He's saying same offense, a no-go. So I think he's basically saying running it back with the same wide receivers. If T-Mac drops to 16, better take him. Marv needs help. So, yeah, I think if we're sitting in draft night and we're sitting there with T-Mac there at 16 and you have some other – you definitely consider it, right? It's not one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm going –
You can still trade back too.
Yeah,
you don't have to take him. Like someone else will want him, and if they traded back and didn't take T-Mac, I wouldn't be upset either because like they do have Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride, and they like to run the ball, so I wouldn't be upset. And if you recruit a 3rd round pick, maybe it'd probably be just a 3rd, maybe another late round pick like a 7th or a 6th. But I'd do that. The Cardinals have 6 swings at the bat. We need more bad attempts to at the plate, man. So that's where I'm at too.
We got Z-Lot here saying Cardinals require, in all caps, a defensive tackle. It's non-negotiable. Mason Graham is the best guy. Best at this in this class, but I doubt he falls to 16. I agree with that. He's not going to. I say we take Kenneth Grant. What is your overall thoughts on Kenneth Grant? I like him. I really do, but I think it really depends on what edge rusher is there for me. What do you feel about that?
I like Kenneth Grant, and it's a really deep, like, pass rusher draft in terms of like guys like James Pierce and Stewart and guys we've already talked about. I don't know. It feels a little bit like a reach taking a guy at 16 there. I think it's a little high. That's where I'm at with him. I have guys that I just value over him. Like Mason Graham, the kid from Michigan.
Yeah.
I know we only have 6 swings at the bat, but I'd trade up for that guy in a second. The only thing that worries me, for all those people that want an interior defensive lineman, Darius Robinson mostly plays inside.
Exactly.
So for all those people that don't want to draft Cam Scattaboo because we just drafted a running back last year, we're all good with drafting a defensive tackle, even though we just did that last year with our first round pick.
Yeah.
So I like Mason Graham a lot, and I think Darius Garland. I think Darius Garland. That's a basketball player. I think Darius Robinson can play on the outside, but I think he's better suited for the inside. I believe firmly in Darius Robinson. That dude is a dog. I was watching him toss guys around at training camp. He got injured, and he was a rookie. And by the time he really got his feet under him, the season ended. So I don't hold anything against that guy. And so I'd rather an edge. But if the best player is a defensive tackle, I'm taking the defensive tackle. I like Walter Nolan too. Yeah. So Mason, if there were like guys like wish list that I could just poof to the Cardinals, obviously Abdul Carter, but let's not be stupid.
Yeah.
Mason Graham's there. And Pierce is probably there.
Me
I
too.
really like Pierce.
I love
Tennessee.
Pierce too. And I don't. You can't see
really
the graphic.
Pierce.
That's who I have on this graphic right now.
No, don't worry. I got the stream up on my phone, so I can see what's going on too.
Yeah, no, he's top for me. Obviously, you're right. Abdul Carter's the number one edge rusher for me in this class, but there's no way in hell we're gonna get him. Like, this is the guy I would love the Cardinals to go after.
You'd have to trade up. Like, it's going to be Ward, and I think it's just going to be like at the end of the day, I think there's going to be a quarterback run because there always is.
Yeah.
So I think guys are going to fight to get up to the front of the line, and Abdul Carter could fall. The Travis Hunter thing is interesting because I think he's really good at both positions, wide receiver and cornerback. I don't think he's great at either. And that is a dilemma that I think teams are going to have to worry. Like, if he's going to play both ways, yeah, you're getting an extra player on both sides of the field. But I don't know how well that's going to play out in terms of longevity-wise. So I think he's better as a cornerback, but that's just me reading the tea leaves. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm studying footwork.
Right.
But and then as a wide receiver, he's just a bit small.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Here's my hot take of the night. I think Travis Hunter falls.
You think?
Further than people think. Not to 16.
Okay.
But I do think there's a chance he gets to
like 6, 7, 8.
8, 9, 10.
8, 9, 10, really?
Now I just feel like I'm spewing out hot takes right now, and I don't mean to do that. But I said that to another guy, my buddy who covers the Cowboys. I go, if I had a hot take, I think he falls. Because it's the same thing with Isaiah Simmons, right? Mm-hmm. Isaiah Simmons, here's my point to it. Isaiah Simmons could do everything on defense, right?
Yeah.
But when you asked and you were like, okay, what position does he play? Because he has to play a position, right? You're like, well, you just kind of put him everywhere. Okay, well, what position is that? Is he a safety? Well, no, he's kind of too big to be a safety. So, okay, well, he's an inside linebacker. Well, he's a little small to be a linebacker, and he's kind of slow in terms of watching plays develop. Okay, well, is he a pass rusher? Well, we're not so sure about that either. But he does everything, because in college he was an insane freak athlete, and he didn't have to be great at anything. Yeah. So I wonder with Travis Hunter, too, where people are debating, is he a wide receiver? Is he a cornerback? That's where I think it gets a little dicey, because teams start to go, well, we could just put him anywhere. Or can you? In college, yes. In the pros, I don't know. And
it's a different game.
We just had a tweener guy in Isaiah Simmons a few years ago. And I was begging for Isaiah Simmons to fall to the Cardinals. And I look like an idiot because Isaiah Simmons was awful. He couldn't cover anyone. Yeah. He couldn't cover tight ends. He couldn't cover running backs. He couldn't cover wide receivers. I'm not so sure if they lined a quarterback out wide and it was like Kyler Murray if he could stick with him. So, which was always funny when he got released. People were like, "Oh, the Giants stole Isaiah Simmons." I'm like, no, he's awful.
Yeah, he can't fix the situation there. I wanted CeeDee Lamb, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I did jump when we got him just because I bought into that whole all Swiss Army knife type of guy. But I want a CD. Like, that was the main guy I wanted to kind of pair him with Kyler.
You know what you just said? Sorry, continue.
No, you're good. I was just gonna move on to the Shedeur thing.
I was gonna say, you know how you said a Swiss Army knife? Yeah. Swiss Army knives are really great in the forest, right? Because you have everything you need. You got a can opener, and you got a little knife, and you've got everything on there, right?
Yep.
But when you're at home,
You don't use that shit.
do you use a Swift Army knife?
Oh, no, you don't.
Or
Hell
do
no,
you
you
go get it? Or do you go get a real knife?
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
like, it's a fun toy to have.
Yeah.
But is it practical? No.
Yeah.
So that's where I would land on that. So the Travis Hunter thing, I really like Travis Hunter. Like as a player and as a person, I want him to succeed. I think he's a great dude and easy to root for, and a Heisman Trophy winner. But I just wonder how that's gonna work.
Yeah.
I wonder how that's gonna work.
Very interesting to see exactly.
I just don't see how teams they're evaluating him and they don't know where to put him. So I think that's a red flag. But I think because we have trauma with that it's a thing.
Fair, exactly. We have a lot of trauma here, absolutely. All right, well, let's move on over to the last topic that I want to talk to you about. I brought you here, Ben, because I saw you a while ago, and I did message you, and you are standing on 10 toes still with the situation with Shedeur. I have a very, very big question for you. Right now, 16th overall if Shedeur Sanders fall, and I've seen multiple mock drafts that he might be there. You know, at 16.
I've seen him. I saw him. So the guy who I think does the best job, Trevor Sikkema of Pro Football Focus, who I interviewed him after I interviewed him before this, but he had Shedeur Sanders falling out of the first round.
Wow.
And I'm like,
wow.
So the one thing that worries me about Shedeur Sanders is the same thing that worries me with Kyler, and the same thing that worried me with what's the quarterback's name with the personality. Either way, the quarterbacks that come out and aren't a first to give praise and first to give praise to everyone else and first to take all the criticism worry me. I don't give a damn what the tight ends say. I don't care what the running backs say. I don't care what the linebackers say. Whatever. The quarterback's your leader of your team. So the thing with Shedeur Sanders that I've been standing on for a while is the one thing I'm concerned about him is the mental side of it. Oh, it was Caleb Williams, which it's one season, but I've been right so far where like the talent is all there for Caleb. Up here, like, and I'm gonna stand 10 toes down with this too. I have opinions. People tend to not like them sometimes, and whatever. Like Caleb Williams, and we'll comp it to Shedeur Sanders. Caleb Williams, there was a few things I thought were weird and odd, and I don't like that in my quarterback. Everyone else, I don't care. Painting your fingernails, as a man, I don't care if you paint your fingernails. But let's not act like it's not different. You want to, Mike, you want to paint your fingernails and paint them pink, blue, yellow, and spell out whatever you want? I don't care. Do whatever the bleep you want. You're the quarterback of my team. I see distraction. Because you want to know why? Because it's different. And you don't want your quarterback to be looked upon and think, oh, what's that? But it's not just that. It's not just the painted fingernails, right? Oh, toxic masculinity. No, I couldn't give a damn. Paint your fingernails if you want. It's the writing the F Utah on your painted nails. Yeah. Again, look at me, right? And then it was after he lost his third game in against Utah or whatever, and he went and cried in the stands to his mother. That is, look at me. He is the number one prospect in the draft. You know all the cameras are going to be on you. And it's not like he lost the national championship game or the Pac-12 championship game. He lost a third game. They weren't winning the Pac-12. You want to go cry? Do it in the tunnel with your mom. Privacy. People won't bother you. And no one like me is going to question it. And for everyone to say, oh, men can't cry. You're toxic. No, it's different. And I look at that stuff and I think it's different. He goes in the press conferences and he says he wants to go home, watch movies, and sit with his dog and eat ice cream and cry. And I'm like, you can do that. I don't care. It's a little weird that you said that to the press. And then I comp it, which is why I've worried about Caleb Williams. Incredibly talented, but just different. And then you go to Shedeur, right? Shedeur Sanders has kind of the same thing. I know people hate the Colin Cowherd backwards hat thing. but I do get some of where he's coming from. Now, listen, I'm really good friends with Jason McIntyre of The Herd. I do a lot of work with Jason. It's a little bit of a bit. But, like, if you are going to... I don't care if a quarterback does this weekly press conference or after the game with the backwards hat. Totally fine. I don't care. But if you are going to give a press conference interview at the NFL Combine and you're going to turn your hat sideways, look like you didn't get dressed up for the occasion, knowing there are owners about to spend billions of dollars and invest it into you, and that's your judgment? You didn't want to get spruced up, maybe comb the hair a little bit?
You're talking about Shador?
Yeah, Shador at the NFL Combine.
But you also got to realize, like, a lot of these kids now with these NIL money, like, they don't have the same mentality. They come from money too. It's not billionaire, but you put $1 million in a 21, 22-year-old, and I agree. I'm in my 30s too. So I mean, not you, but I'm in my 30s. So I don't think these kids.
Never call me that old again.
I don't think they care. They don't care about that type of stuff, like the suit and tie. Like they'll do it. They're wacky. But of course, all the older people, like, what's his name? Coward. They're gonna have an issue with it just because they're not used to it, right? But
I don't know why? Because it works. Outside of Allen Iverson, who revolutionized style and the way you do press conferences in basketball, again, a totally different sport, it hadn't worked until he showed up. In the NFL, look at some of the guys, right? Tom Brady, political. Kyler Murray, for a long time, we were worried about him at the podium, and now he's straightforward to the point, really straightened up. Patrick Mahomes, I don't have to worry about him. Lamar Jackson, I don't have to worry about him saying something stupid at the podium or showing up to a important, like, if Lamar showed up to his press conference on Halloween, he's wearing a backwards hat and he's being wacky, like, whatever. And also, he's a made man in the NFL. I don't care. I know Lamar. The judgment, and it's the same thing I worried about with Kyler forever, the judgment to walk up there and you don't look the part, and there is a part you should look. I don't care how much money you have. That worries me a little bit. But with that being said, if he fell to 16.
So you would take him at 16 if he falls? Yeah?
Yeah.
Even with all the stuff that you just mentioned?
It's the 16th overall pick. I'm not taking him with the first overall pick. That's why I think he fell. Like, here's the thing. This could be the last year of Kyler Murray. You're not starting Shador this year. Yeah. If he comes here. I think it would be a disservice not to take him. If he fell to 16, and just to be fair, I don't think he's going to, because I believe quarterbacks always get drafted higher than they should. Jackson Dart is being talked about taking the 7th overall freaking pick. Zach Wilson was the 2nd overall pick.
Yep.
Cam Ward is probably going to go number 1.
Yeah.
Like they get overdrafted. But if he falls to 16 and you have Kyler Murray, who's going to start this year, and Kyler is just bad again in the second half, you're moving on from Kyler Murray.
Right.
Insert a quarterback with a reset quarterback money clock. And it's not like next year, if Kyler's awesome and you want to stick it out with Kyler, you can't just trade Shador. Yeah, you're going to take a loss. Probably going to get a 2nd-round pick for him. But I like insurance.
Right.
And if Kyler Murray doesn't work out, you have a quarterback that is bigger, maybe not necessarily stronger, but we don't have to worry about the seeing over the line concerns. I think the athleticism is there. Pinpoint accurate. I don't think it's crazy. And this is not, and I don't think Shador Sanders, like for the people in the chat who are going to roast me, I don't think Shador Sanders is the second coming of Tom Brady, but I think he has a similar ceiling to Kyler, but with a better consistency. Like Kyler's ceiling is like up here.
Right.
The problem is he's never consistent. And I like Kyler, right? I think he's one of the best values in the NFL right now with this contract, but it's still $45 million. You get Shador Sanders in there, who's, I think, has roughly the same ceiling, but maybe a little bit more consistent.
Right.
Where it's not this, man. I
just
want off
to
the
be
roller
clear,
coaster ride.
Just to be clear, we see some people in the chat saying a rookie quarterback right now will send us back. So he's not saying play Shador Sanders right now. You're rolling with Kyler Murray's what he's saying. So if it happens, it's the insurance policy.
Can I tell you what I think is going to happen though?
Go ahead.
I think Shador goes like in the top 5 because I think someone's going to overdraft him, and I don't think the Cardinals would take him. I think they're sold on Kyler. I think they're sold on Kyler.
Yeah,
and
100% agree.
So if you're asking me what I would do, I like insurance, and I like to not be caught flat-footed. And as much as I want Kyler Murray to succeed, it's very similar to the Kevin Durant thing where, I got called Clown Garcia by Kevin Durant the other day, which hurt my feelings a little bit because I thought him and I were boys.
Yeah.
But I guess not. I guess, I just guess we're just not as close as I thought we were. But but Kyler Murray's kind of the same way. If you criticize Kyler, you hate Kyler. My job and your job, if Kyler Murray becomes awesome, our lives get so much easier, so much better, and we make more money. Yeah. Why in the hell would I root against Kyler Murray? I am praying he finally pops this year because my viewership's going to go up, my money's going to go up, and my love for the team and support for the team is going to go up. So I love Kyler. I want it to work out. I got 3 Kyler Murray jerseys in there. I hope it works out. But I'm reading the writing on the wall, and Shedeur Sanders could be a potential insurance policy on the Kyler Murray thing, and you could move on from Kyler next year, and you'll still get a pick if it doesn't work out. But guys, it's year 7 next year. If you think now's going to be the year, now it's this year.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. So, yeah. I want it to happen, but I don't think it's going to.
Yeah.
As much as that sucks, I've been burned 6 times already. I can't do it again.
Fair. No, that's fair. I mean, and I don't blame you for feeling that way. I mean, I love insurance as well. I mean, I've been talking about the insurance since we got swept after the Seahawks game. I've already made that video coming out saying, we need a backup plan. We need some sort, and that completely, so many people kind of went against me, but as you can tell, obviously the Arizona Cardinals
you're a hater.
Still thinking that they are going to get a quarterback because they went Jacoby Brissett. That's better than Clayton Tune. We have some sort of guy that
Clayton Tune sucks. Clayton Tune is awful.
Yeah, so for the most part, we got our guy that's going to be able to hopefully win us a game or two if needed, right? Because let's not also forget that Kyler Murray, not last year, but has had injury concerns. But going back to the insurance policy, I agree with you, man. I think the Cardinals should go after a quarterback in this draft, just not with the 16th overall pick, because
and that's fine. I don't think it's crazy either. I'm just
if it's Shedeur,
it's March and I'm starving for content.
That's fair. So it's defensive line for me in that specific spot, but there is some guys that I really would like the Cardinals to get. Like I've even seen Milroe, and I'm not the biggest guy on Milroe. Like I'm really not, but if he falls to like 4 or like 5 or some crazy thing, which he won't, then I would look his way. But
the 4th or 5th round or the 4th or 5th overall pick?
Sorry, 4th or 5th round. That's what I'm saying. He's not going to fall that far. He's probably going to go in the 3rd round or something, or 2nd.
I think the dude's going to go in the 2nd round.
Milroe?
I don't think he's any good. I agree. I'd rather stick a needle in my eye than draft Jalen Milroe. I don't think he's very good at all. Yeah. But I think he's going to go in the 2nd round because quarterbacks get overdrafted.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, there's Will Howard, there's Kyle McCord, there's some other guys the Cardinals could take a flyer on. I'm still cool with the Cardinals getting a quarterback here because even if we got Jacoby, that's still like a 2-year deal at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm good on drafting a quarterback. If it's not in the 1st round, and like I'm not advocating to draft one in the 1st round. I'm just saying if it falls there, you need to have I think it would be disingenuous to not have a conversation or take phone calls. Like trade the pick.
That's fair.
I'm good on this quarterback class.
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe in any of them. Yeah. Outside of Shedeur, who I think has helped change Colorado football, which was terrible. I think I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah, this class is not great. All you can hope for and pray is that somebody works out in the 4th. And I'm not talking about the Cardinals, but like 4th or 5th round guy because they're going to get overdrafted. Even Dart, I wouldn't take a 1st round pick for Dart. I wouldn't even go 2nd round for Dart if I was the Cardinals.
I would because I would have to. Because I would have to. Like, do I think he's probably more of a 3rd round guy? Yes. But because I would have to, I'd take him in the 2nd round. But he's not.
If we didn't have Kyler, is what you're saying. Right. If we didn't have Kyler in the situation, you would take him.
Yeah, I don't think I do. Yeah, I think if you have Kyler, I wouldn't take him that early.
Yeah,
a 3rd round pick. Like if Jackson Dart somehow fell in the 3rd round, I would take him even with Kyler.
Yep.
But no, if you're gonna keep Kyler, I don't want to do that. You're either all in or you're all out. Is my thing. So
That's what I'm saying too. No, I agree, and that's why I wanted to bring you on. I wanted to kind of get a gauge of where you're at. But I completely
you also
understand
want
where
to bring me
you're
on.
coming
You also want to bring me on because I'm just the smartest person you've ever had on.
from. Dang.
I mean, come on. My competition is Alex Clancy. I mean, come on now.
Sheesh.
I know, Alex, and I like Alex. He knows I'm joking. But
I needed to. My goodness. Shots fired. All right. Well, no, I appreciate you coming on. Obviously, you get a different taste of different opinions out there, and that's one thing that I absolutely love. Like I said, I love to see different opinions. I don't jump into them because at the end of the day, everybody's entitled to their opinion. There's no point of a back and forth to me.
I mean, we're talking Cardinals right now, but recently I've been jumping into the Suns Kevin Durant space because I kind of got called into that space.
Yep.
Because God, fans are just that. They're just fans. And I love and like the listeners of our show, like Locked On Suns and stuff I do, like I love them, but like, man, sometimes like some of these takes, and even I have them. Sometimes I have a take too that I look back at it 3 months later and I'm like, God, you're so stupid.
I mean,
like, I wish I could take back some of those, but yeah, man, I appreciate it, brother. And people who want to find me, man, you can find me on Ben Garcia Show. I think you said you had linked it, and every morning, every Monday through Thursday, 6 a.m. Arizona time, I am live streaming, and we're talking all things Arizona sports, man. So I appreciate you bringing me on, and I try to pride myself on having a different opinion, but something that I actually believe.
Yeah.
And listen, Kyler Murray has me blocked, and Kevin Durant called me a clown. And I'm going to be honest with you, I wear both of those with the badge of honor.
Yeah,
I don't want to be their friends.
I
want to hold this team accountable. I am so sick and tired of kissing all of our teams freaking asses.
Yeah,
just to be paid with mediocrity. I'm so over it. I want a championship, man. So,
yeah, no, that's 100% fair. And like I said,
I appreciate Garcia out, man.
Right. I appreciate you for jumping on. We do have his channel linked in the description below if you want to go and check him out. Definitely appreciate you for coming on. We talked all sorts of different things. Any last thing you want to say to the chat before we head out?
Yeah. I didn't realize I wasn't subscribed to you, so I just subscribed to you right now. That was it. Also, I can smell my pizza being made, which means the wife is home and she threw it in. So
Shame.
That's for not being subscribed and not that whole pizza situation. I would have been cooked, man.
If
I didn't do what my wife said.
My beautiful, amazing, patient wife is she's gonna let me off with a warning this time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But either way, man, I appreciate you having me on, and you have to change your whole schedule around to have me, so I appreciate it. And everyone in the chat watching, you guys are awesome. I appreciate that as well, man.
Ben, thank you so much, man. Have a great rest of your day, dude. Later, man. Peace. All right. Love to see it. Ben Garcia, thank you so very much for jumping on. We will be closing up shop right here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Smack the like button if you guys haven't already done so. Subscribe. This is your first time here on the road to 17K. As always, have a great rest of your day, and have a good race or night. Good night.